Hello everyone, this is Geekmaster Flash from the Steam and Paradox forums. Making a video here to show an issue I've been seeing with Crusder Kings 2 since the 2.1.5 update, as well as the 2.1.6 update, but to a lesser extent. So here's the issue. There is an extreme rise in graphics card temperature playing Crusder Kings 2 compared to the previous 2.1.4 update. Now, this is what you see here on my screen. This is P sensor. This is a temperature gauge for my graphics card and CPU. The red line here indicates my graphics card, and the blue line here indicates my CPU. The red line, you can see it's got to about 80 degrees. Oh, excuse me. It reached about 80 degrees earlier. That is because I was running a benchmark test, and it got to some pretty extreme heats there. So right now I'm idle. I'm not really doing much, and it's running at 41 degrees Celsius. Now, as I record this video, you're going to see the Steam window pop up a lot, and unfortunately there's not much I can do about that. And, so in order to do this test properly, I had to set Linux here to use Metacity instead of Compiz. Now, Metacity is very stable, and it's great for running these kind of tests, but it does have some glitches. And when you have Steam open, this is one of them. Anytime you get a message from somebody on Steam or someone on Steam comes online, it brings up the whole window. So, and it causes this horrible thing you see here. So, that's going to happen a bit, and I do apologize, but it shouldn't affect us too badly. Now, a bit of background on the system. The card in there is a GeForce 660. It is overclocked from the manufacturer MSI. It's natural heat, as you can see there. Is pretty high. It's sitting at a 41, and that's 41 degrees Celsius. That is with a water pump on it. Current temperature in San Antonio, where I live, is, let's see, a nice balmy 91 degrees Fahrenheit, or 33 degrees Celsius. And so the card's a little hotter than the room temperature. CPU is about room temperature, which is actually really good for your internal components like computer. Usually these would be a little hotter than the room you're in. And this is because the whole system's water cooled. Now, included on that card, below it, well, not included on the card, but I'm sorry. Below the card, I have a system blower that is there to blow air out. Now, that is not there to cool the card off. That is there to blow dust out of the system so that doesn't accumulate on the card, because some people were mentioning earlier that they thought that the airflow was a problem in my system. It's not. I have air that comes in from the front, it gets blown in through out the back through the blower, and there's another fan on the side that is blowing directly onto the card as well. So it's well ventilated and it's well cooled. And the reason that the heat is so high naturally is just that it is an overclocked card directly from MSI. Alright, so now that's out of the way, let's get started. So, as we see here, I'm sitting at 40 degrees Celsius, just idle, and I am going to run a couple of games, and then I'm going to run a benchmark, and then I'm going to run Crusder Kings 2 to show you the comparison. So, I was asked specifically to run Portal 2, the Linux version, as a benchmark by the people at Paradox forums on their tech support, because they believe this is a decent benchmark test. I don't agree, mostly because the Portal 2 version of Linux version is really terrible when it comes to graphics, at least the beta version I have. I don't know if they've updated it. I haven't really played this in a very long time. As you can see, I got a total of 11 minutes in the game. Really not my favorite game, but I'll go ahead and run it. Alright, now, again, don't be surprised at the terrible graphics, as, again, this is the beta version, and it's just quite awful, really. Alright, and just for reference there, CPU temperature is 50 when we're in the menu. Haven't really gotten into the game yet. Let's go ahead. Now keep in mind the temperatures are a little higher than normal as well because I'm doing a recording and it's extremely hot outside today. Normally my baseline temperature is around 30. But yeah, due to extreme heats in my area, it's all a bit higher. Anyway, Alright, and here's the game. Well, did it run for, we'll call it 3 minutes or so?
All testing candidates in the Amateur Science Extended Relaxation Center must be revived periodically for a mandatory physical and mental wellness exercise. You will hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer, look up at the ceiling. Good. You will hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer, look down at the floor. Good. This completes the gymnastic portion of your mandatory physical and mental wellness exercise. There is a framed painting on the wall. Please go stand in front of it. This is art. You will hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer, stare at the art.
Yay, tutorials.
You should now feel mentally reinvigorated. If you suspect staring at art has not provided the required intellectual sustenance, reflect briefly on this classical music. Good. Now please return to your bed. Good morning. You have been in suspension for 9.
Hello? Anyone in there?
Alright.
Hello? Oh, God. You look good. Looking good, actually. Are you okay? Are you... Don't answer that. I'm absolutely sure you're fine. There's plenty of time for you to recover. Just take it slow.
Please prepare for emergency evacuation.
Stay calm. Stay calm. Prepare. It's all the same. Prepare. It's all fine. All right? Don't move. I'm going to get us out of here. Oh, you might want to hang on to something. Word of advice. Up to you.
Okay.
You all right down there? Can you hear me? Hello?
That's just about enough of that. Alright. Let's quit and take a look at our heat gauge. Oh, God damn it. Really hate this. Alright. So, let's see, we got up about 55 degrees Celsius at the max. Looks like it was sitting around somewhere between 53 and 52. So yeah, nothing to write home about. Exactly what I would expect from a game like that. And temperatures are all within reasonable parameters. Alright, let's go with the next one. This game is Forced. So this one's going to be a little more graphics heavy. I imagine it's going to get the card up to probably like 70, 72, especially today's heat. It's another Linux native game. And yeah, see, it's already on its rise. Let's see how high it gets here. Alright, looks like it's stabilizing around 60. Yep, okay, 66, 67. Alright, and it's stable. Oh, keep speaking too soon. Yeah, alright, let's play it. Let's see how it gets. And I'm going to be terrible at this game, obviously. I haven't played it in forever. Alright. Can I go now? That's everything I need, right? There we go. Alright, and there we go. As you can see, much more graphically impressive than Portal was. And what's my temperature looking like? Okay, so it's actually on the way back down. So it's stabilizing now around 60, 70. It looks like it got as high as 80 at one point, but it only stayed there for a moment and dropped right back down. Alright, so let's go ahead and close this. Now we're going to run a benchmark test just to show, how hot the hottest it should get is, and then we're going to compare that with Crusader Kings. Alright, so my benchmark test is one called Heaven. This will take me a second to find it. Alright, and it's from Unigine, or Unigine? I don't know how to pronounce that. But just to check out the presets here, the quality is set to Ultra, which is the highest it goes. Tessellation is Extreme, also the highest it goes. Stereo 3D is set to Dual Output. The anti-aliasing is set to ×8. And the resolution is the size of this monitor. I would go full screen, but it's, for some reason, it keeps cutting off the top there, so let's go ahead and run it. And see what I mean? It just pushes that down there. So, we're going to bring it up a bit. And you can probably see it in the corner here, in the upper right corner there, where it says it's about, the temperature gauge. It also gives you the memory clock rate and the GPU clock rate, where you can see them here. But I'll also keep up the heat sensor in case that's unreadable to you. So as you can see here, it's getting up to about 80, and we'll go ahead and start the benchmark. And we're going to let it run. I expect it's probably going to get to like 80, 85 easily. That's, again, this thing is, I'm recording, I'm running a benchmark, and this benchmark is designed to work this card as hard as it possibly can. So as you can see here, I'm getting warning already from it saying that it's getting hot. So let's just let it go. But yeah, so really, games in general shouldn't do this to my card. Some of them do, but only for a very short amount of time. It should just be, most games like you saw where Force did it, it got to 80 and then it dropped immediately. Probably just had to load something heavy for a moment. You're going to see a lot of bad frames, a lot of slow stuff here. That's because I am doing a recording while running a benchmark. Normally my score here at the end would be in the 900s to 1000. I'm probably going to expect it to be much lower, probably like 400, 500, just because of how much this recording is taking up here. But yeah, you see it stabilizes here. It's about 84 degrees. It's probably going to stay around 84 degrees the entire benchmark. This is a pretty long thing, actually. As you can see here, it's going to go through 26 scenes, and we're only 6 in. So, get some popcorn, have fun, go do something. But it's going to be a while here. Again with this. Again, I'm sorry that Steam keeps doing that. It is again the fault of using Metacity that it keeps popping up those little errors every time someone sends me a message, where you get like the background changes to the Steam background. Again, it's going to keep happening throughout the entire thing. I don't want to keep apologizing for it, so this will probably be the last time. But that's what's going on there, and it is because I'm required to use Metacity for this test. Normally I wouldn't be, because I think Compiz is better and far more stable, but for some reason Steam and Paradox say to use Metacity, so that's what I'm doing. Anyway, as you can see, the benchmark is definitely laggy, and that's again the fault of the recording. And just for the record, for those who aren't really too keen on graphics cards, generally 80 is considered pretty damn hot. It's fine to play games when you get that hot, as long as it's not like a constant thing for hours on end. But it's generally fine to be this hot for a short period of time. Now, the reason this is concerning in Crusader Kings, which you'll see later, is that Crusader Kings is a game meant to be played for hours at a time. Or at least that's the way I do it, as it's an epic grand scale strategy game. So. A little more than halfway through. About 7 more scenes to go through. And temperature has been steady at about 84, 83 degrees almost the entire test. It has gotten up to 85 at one point, and man, that is really annoying. Sorry. Alright, there we go. There we go. So yeah, 84, 85. Alright, 5 scenes to go. Two scenes to go. Alright, and that should just be about it. Let's watch the sunset. And the temperature stayed about 85 to 83 degrees the entire test. Yeah, as I was expecting, my score is ridiculously low right now due to the recording here. But yeah, so there you go. That's with the card being stressed to the absolute limits it should be. Alright, now we're going to play Crusder Kings 2, the most current patch, 2.1.6. Then I'm going to downgrade to the last patch and show the difference. So we're going to let this cool down. It should be pretty quick since it is a water-cooled system. It's already dropped from 20 degrees, or yeah, it's already dropped 20 degrees. Alright, so I think 54 is a... Yeah, it's not the 40 we were at when we were idle, but it's pretty close. So let's go with that. And so Crusder Kings. Now I'm going to turn off my mod. This really doesn't do anything to the graphics, so it really is unnecessary for me to turn this off. But I'll go ahead and do so just for completion's sake. Yeah, keep Sunset Invasion off. But as you can see, I own all the DLC. So I doubt any of that's causing the problem. Alright, so we start the game here, and as you see here, as we get into it, it stays at 57 at the start, but it's going to jump extremely high, as high as that benchmark test, if not higher. Back when it was 2.1.5, it actually got hotter than the benchmark. It actually got up to the 90s. But now, since 2.1.6, it's only getting up to the benchmark. But still, that's extremely hot for something that's not very graphically intensive, something that is intended to be run for hours on end. So, yeah, alright. Alright, as you see, as soon as we get into this screen, it just jumps up. You're not even into the game yet, and I'm already at 77. I mean, all it has loaded is the map and the context here, nothing else. And look at this, I'm at 80, I'm getting heat warnings. But Before I would have to actually kill it because it would keep rising up into the 90s. Now it seems to peter out around 85, but I haven't even started the game yet, and we're getting that hot. So I don't know what it is about the new patch, but it's obviously not something to do with the graphics because there's really nothing on the screen here. So I'm sure that they just offloaded something onto the GPU they shouldn't have. Probably better off to be on the CPU, because I don't know why they would do that, but according to the forums there, they do offload some processes to the GPU because it's faster. But whatever they've done here since this update, at least on Linux machines with nVidia cards, this is the kind of thing we're seeing here, where it is getting as hot and staying as hot. I mean, I haven't done anything. It's been rising. It hasn't gone back down. It's staying this hot through the entire game, and that's really way too hot to be running a game that's intended to be played this long. Let's get into the actual game, see if it does anything for us. Yeah, and yeah, look at this. And look at this. This is also another problem. It is skipping at the opening screen. Now, oddly enough, I can make it go faster by hitting the middle button on my mouse. Not much faster, mind you. But if I don't hit my mouse button, this is what it does. If I hit my mouse button, it seems to move every time I click. But yeah, this is ridiculously bad. This is really, I mean, this is unplayably bad. This is really way too hot. It's overworking my GPU. The screen crawl here is bad. I mean, I have to wait like 15 minutes to actually play the game. In fact, I'm not going to wait it. I'm going to kill this. There we go. And now that Crusder Kings is killed, look at that. It dropped 20, 40 degrees almost instantaneously. So obviously there's a problem with Crusder Kings 2. Now, at this point in the video, I am going to downgrade Crusder Kings 2 to the last available beta, which unfortunately is 2.0.4. I don't know why they didn't put the next one available, but we'll go ahead and do that. This is going to take some time to download, so I will edit that out of the video when I put it up on YouTube. But then I will show you, once that's done, the difference, which is, pretty much massive in heat between the two. Alright, welcome back. So, Crusder Kings I've downgraded to patch 2.0.4. In the time it took to download, the heat has dropped down to 42 degrees Celsius. Let's go and play the game and watch how the heat goes. Again, these graphic glitches are due to using MetaCity, but again, it is more stable, if not a little more glitchy. It doesn't usually take this long to load. What gives? Well, that's unfortunate. Looks like the old patch isn't working now either now. Alright, well, there we go, finally. That took longer than it usually does, but okay, so we'll see what the temperatures look like once we get into the game. As you saw before, just by getting to the main menu of Crusder Kings 2 last time, we got into the mid-80s. Let's see how we do on this patch. Alright, so you see I'm on 2.0.4, single player, and just pick somebody, play, and look at that, the menu didn't stutter. My heat is very low. It's at 48, which is the lowest it's been through any of these games, which is exactly what I expect to see considering how, not graphically intensive this game is. So yeah, at this point, I think that the ball is definitely going to be in Paradox's court here. This is obviously something they're going to need to look at. I don't know what it is you guys put in that patch that caused this, but please either roll it back or give some warning, because not everyone is as technically capable as I am. They probably don't know how to monitor their heat. I don't know if they would, or if they have anything that would warn them about it like I do. And so it's just, it's probably good to give some warning that potentially this could damage some nVidia cards if you play it for too long like that. Just something is all I'm asking here. Anyway, I guess that concludes the video. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.